Fear is a terrible emotion, actually. It has far more power on the planet than all of us realise, in fact. You think about, even in your own day-to-day life, how much fear dominates your decision-making. For example, how many of you are doing a job, the exact job that you love right now? Yeah, just a couple of us? The exact job that we love. We love going, we just get up every morning feeling passionate to go to work, and we stay there because we're just passionate doing it. Now, why would we not have a job like that? Most of the time it's because of fear. Because we know we need to get money to live, we need to pay the bills, we need to pay the utilities or the electricity, the gas, we need to pay our vehicle expenses and all those things. And if we don't have a job that pays all of that, we start getting very afraid. And so many of us then make what's called a compromise. We compromise love of ourselves for the sake of our fear. And why would we do that? It's because we don't humble enough to feel our fear. We don't want to feel our fear. We want to make our fear go away. And the way we make our fear go away is by compromising and doing some things so the fear goes less, and then we go, I can breathe again, I feel better now. Now, if we were really humble, we'd go, no, we cannot live in a place where we don't love ourselves, and so I would have to make changes in my life if I wasn't in a job. So basically what many of you have just admitted is that you need to make changes in your life about your job. And then many of us go, well, I don't even know what I would like to do. You see, many of us have had our desires suppressed for so long, since we were little children, that we grow up thinking that what we're doing is what we want, when it's really not. And we don't really know what we want. We've got no idea, many of us. Now, why would that situation occur? It's because we're not humble enough to feel, I don't know what I want. So what we start to do, when we're not humble enough to feel that feeling, is we start listening to what other people think we should do. So we have mum and dad tell us what we think we should do, our friends tell us what they think we should do, and so eventually we listen to all of that and we go, yeah, that's the kind of things that we should do, so let's go ahead and do that. And it's not really what we want.
I was wondering, why do you think it's so complicated for us to actually learn all the things about what you're talking about?
I think fear is the main thing actually that makes it complicated. Yeah. You see, every time anybody makes a statement to us, it's almost like any statement triggers a level of fear within us. And so the fear becomes so dominant that we then go, no, I can't hear that, or I can't do that. So if I said to you tomorrow's Sunday, isn't it? You don't work in Sweden Sundays, generally? No. Monday. Most of you work Monday?
Yes.
Well, Monday, most of you need to go into work and resign. That's the reality, because you're not living in a job that you would really like to do. Now, when I say that, what do most of you feel? Like, the feeling that most would have is, what? I don't want to resign. Like, if I resign, I've got nowhere to go. I won't know what to do. I'll have all these problems, all the bills to pay. You know, and straight away the fear's in place. And the fear prevents the action. The fear is preventing us from actually taking steps in the future. So in other words, it's preventing us from change. It's preventing us from actually changing our life. Now, when I first, I used to do property development, right? And before then I used to be a computer programmer and consultant. So for nearly 20 years I had this business. I would work about, on the average, on my computer business, I would work around anywhere from 12 to 15 hours a day generally. And I'd usually work around 100 hours a week on the average. There have been some times in my computer business where I would work for 4 days straight without any sleep. That's how much I would work. So, a lot. Did you think I liked the job? Of course not. I didn't like the job at all. But it brought lots of money. Right? So it brought me so much money that I was able to begin buying properties. And then after a while I liked properties because I found that I could make money faster buying properties and selling properties. So what I did was I started doing that. But I didn't give up the computer business. So now I was doing both businesses at the same time. And eventually I had 4 companies that I was running doing those businesses. Now all the time, myself getting compromised, I was getting sick quite regularly, as you can imagine, and feeling quite low a lot of the times as well. But I was working, staying in this cycle, if you like. Now, how myself and Mary live our life now is that we don't earn any money at all. We just rely on people donating to us if they want to, and we don't even ask them to donate. So all we do is we have a little, I don't even know if there is a box up the back. Is there one? There is one. So somebody's done that for us, thank you very much. But a lot of time there's a box up the back or whatever, and we have just an internet thing saying how people can donate. And initially when we started giving these talks, when I started doing these talks, for 5 years I received no donations. 5 years. Now, of course, during that time I had to sell a lot of my properties to pay for what I was doing, travelling around the world, speaking to groups of people and so forth. Didn't receive any donations to do it, so the money had to come from somewhere. So eventually I spent all my money. And when I met Mary, 4 years ago or so, I had no money. So she thought that was a pretty good thing. And, not really. And I had to look at why I was not receiving donations. I had to look at why people weren't appreciating what I was doing and didn't have a feeling of appreciation. So I had to go through that emotionally. Now that was quite a fear time for me, because no money, nothing coming in, but I still wanted to do this work. I didn't want to do, I'd closed down my computer business. As soon as I did what I'm suggesting to you to do Monday, is on one day I made the decision to close all of my companies and stop my work. I had one commitment that I had to follow through on with one company that I'd said yes to doing. When I finished that commitment, the whole lot stopped. I had lots of very upset clients who were upset with me because I was stopping doing the work that I'd done for them for years and years. And I just said, no, I've got to embrace what I feel, what my soul feels to do. So I stopped all of that. And so now I have no money, and we have I'm doing talks, and often there's 50 to 100, sometimes 200 or 300 people listening to the talk. And I've got no sound system either. So I've got no money to buy the sound system either. So I decide the best thing to do is to go out and buy a sound system on my credit card. So that was my decision when I had no money to go and do that. Because I was still in my passion and still in my desire. And then I had to work my way through why I was attracting no money. And it was pretty confronting for me emotionally. I had to work through quite a number of things. I won't go into all the things, but I had to work through quite a lot of things. It took me a little while, and then after a while we received a few $100s at one of these presentations. And not enough to get there, not enough to get home, but still living off the credit card a bit to pay for those things. And then eventually, once I worked my way through some more emotions, eventually we got enough money to live on, but no money to buy any sound systems or any other thing, any new thing. And then I had to work through more of the reason why my soul was blocking all of that. And once I'd done that, then people donated enough funds for us to buy new sound systems, buy cameras and things like that. But it all comes from donations of people all around the world. Yeah. But if I had not embraced it because I was too afraid, none of that would have happened. If I was too afraid, I'd still be doing my computer business right now. I'd still be doing it right now because I'd be too afraid to act. Yeah. And this is the problem that we have, is that we're not prepared to be humble and feel everything through the process, and we are afraid to do so. We're afraid of what the consequences are going to be Fear is a huge, huge impediment to our growth.